After we've learned a word where we're just building it, then we go to the final steps of learning a word, and that is acting it out and then learning how to write the word down. So up at the top, we were chanting the word to introduce it. Then we were building it with the cut up letters so that we could learn how to see the letters in the right order, how to snuggle them up. We understood what the word looked like. That was our beginning level of learning that word. Now we need to write it down. So we go to our bottom part of our learning a word, and that is where we act it out and then we write it. Let's get to work on how we act out a word. Let's act out the word the. Down the pole, cross the bridge. That's the letter T. So I write a T up and all the kids say T, and I'm writing it on the board. They're only acting out the word, remember. Now let's do H. Ready? Down the pole, over the hump. You do that with me. Down the pole, over the hump. I write down the H. So the kids are saying T, H. What's our last letter? E. Let's write our E. Now, E loves to start right next to the letters because it always has a crush on the letters. So we're going to start next to the letter, cross the bridge, open your mouth. Ready? Start next to the letters, cross the bridge, open your mouth. Where am I going to start the E? Close to the letter. Cross the bridge, open your mouth. And we have the word the. Let's act it out again. T, H, E. With a whiteboard in front of them, they are going to say T-H-E, and then we're going to write the word down. What's the word, everyone? The. Let's say it together. T-H-E, the. Let's write it. Down the pole, cross the bridge. Down the pole, over the hump. E likes to be with the letters. Start close. Cross the bridge, open your mouth. What's the word? The. I want everyone to erase their boards. So they're all writing this on a whiteboard. I want you to write the again. Write it again. All the kids are writing the on their own, and I'm monitoring and helping kids who need it. As they're writing it, I'm always reminding them, where do you write the letters? Far away or snuggled? Snuggled. We're learning a word by chanting it, building it, acting it out, and then writing it. That's how we learn. Now the final step is mastering the word. Before we go to mastering the word, let's just talk for a moment. This, learn a word, is when you're going to be pulling that small group, and this may be all that you do. You may be doing the for a couple of days where you chant it, build it, act it out, and write it. So you may be pulling that group 2 different times, just learning the word the. You want to pull them again. So let's say this is day 3 that you're pulling this group. You want them to master the word, and that's where they're going to read word boards. What word boards are is this. You want children to be able to see the word, so here's the word the, and then you want them to read previously learned high-frequency words also, so that they are reading these words over and over and over and over and get tons of practice. You don't want children, when they learn a high-frequency word, you don't want them to have it on a separate card where you have a deck of cards and you're flipping through and all the kids are saying the words, because they're on their own. When they go to read or write, what's happening? Other words are around those words. So it's amazing how students can read a word in isolation. They go to read and they see the same word because other words are around it. It looks a little different, and then they freeze up and it's like they've never seen the word before. So we want children to learn that word, take that word that they were learning. We want them to master it by reading it over and over again and reviewing past words. What if the was one of the first words that they've learned? Well, then you wouldn't have these other words on this page. What you would have is probably just their name and the word the. And you would have it in an arbitrary order, don't have any patterns. So on that first line, it may be the, Sarah, the. And then you would go to the next line, Sarah, the, Sarah. And they would just be reading these words quickly over and over and over again. You will be amazed, though, at, let's go back and let's say you have a student. You give all the students a page with the high frequency words on it. Again, the new word that they've learned and past words are on here in an arbitrary order. All the students get this page. They're now going to be reading from left to right all the words they previously have learned and the new high frequency word mixed up. As they do it, you're going to start to see some students will point to a word and they will freeze. They've just learned how to read the word the. They've been writing the word the. They go to read it on a word board and they freeze up. Grab a card that they were using previously, put it next to their word board and say, you know this word, and point to it. So you would have the right there on the card next to the board. If they're still freezing up, then show them, this is the word the. What's this word? The. Get out the letters, have them build it again. So pull that student's paper, have them build the word again with the letters, then go back to the page. So now let's erase it all. Now have them go back to the page, just have the index card there. Say, you know this word, what is it? The. Let's look at the first word. Does that match? Is that the same? Then they'll look at each letter. Yes, it is. What's that word then? The. They read it. The, my, I, Sarah, I, my, I, Sarah, I, the. And you will see that they will start to be able to read that word as fast as a snap, reviewing all the past words they've learned. Again, if the is the first word that they've learned and they know their name, then you would have their name and the word the on those lines for them to read. Let's go to the bottom of this page. What you'll see is you have them reading these words so they master them. They can read them as fast as a snap. Now you want to take that high frequency word that they just learned and you want to put it on a chart. So you're going to write the word the on this chart. If the was the first word they were learning, then this chart would be blank. There wouldn't be any words on it, and you're going to write the on there. And as they learn new words, what do? You keep writing down new words on this as fast as a snap chart. At the end of this lesson, you would go back, they would have a whiteboard in front of them, and then you would say, boys and girls, write the word the. They'd have to go to the chart, point to it, and then on a whiteboard, write down the word the. Erase it. Find the word my. Let's say my was a previously learned word. They'd have to find it, write it on your whiteboard, and write it. Then I point to different kids and say, you write the, you write my, you write I, you write the, and I mix it up. They're learning how to write down a high frequency word by, I need to write the word the, find it on the chart, and now write it. Some kids may not even have to use the chart. They may just be able to write the by memory. But you want them to be able to have this as a resource because as they learn more and more high frequency words, it's easier for them to learn these words by going to them and then writing them down. You want that resource there so they always spell them correctly. After a while, they won't even need to look at the chart. They'll just know how to write it down as fast as a snap. So we've learned at the pre-emergent level how to teach kids high frequency words. First, we're going to be pulling them for a couple of days just to learn a high frequency word by chanting it, building it for the first 8 to 10 words, and then acting out the word and writing it over and over again. After a couple of days of learning a word, then what do? We move to having that word with previous learned high frequency words on a word board. And they read these lines so they get to read the word over and over and over again. And then finally, we put it on their snap board. They have their snap board in front of them with a whiteboard. You say, find the word the, write it down on your whiteboard. Erase it. Find the word my, write it down on your whiteboard so that they can get in practice of finding the word and writing it quickly. That's how we do our high frequency words. One of the other skills you're doing at the pre-emergent stage is you're teaching children how to segment a word. That's on page 75. And again, you'll see there's 2 columns here. The first column is what kids need to master, how to say a word slowly. Once they can do this, then we move to where they segment and write down the word. So they need to first master this skill on the left side. So you may be pulling kids many times only doing the say the word slowly activities. Once they can do this pretty well, then we move on to the segment and write the words. So let me explain how these work. On page 75, children are going to learn how to segment words, first by learning how to say the word slowly, and then finally they can say the word slowly. So what will they do? Segment each sound in a word so that they can match it with letters to write that word down. We're going to focus primarily on CVC words so that they have an exact match, letter to sound match. Let's go to the left side of this chart. You'll see that the whole goal here is just to teach children how to say a word slowly. What I found is that when many students who have very little phonemic awareness, when they go to try to segment a word, they don't even know what we're doing. So what I've done is I have this little bridge activity where I'm trying to have them learn just how to say a word slowly and then finally get to where they segment the words. On the page, I have some pictures. This is a man, a bat, a can, and a cat. These words, these CVC words, are with high frequency letters. Typically in kindergarten or in first grade for review, students start learning more of the high frequency letters in an alphabet, letters that you tend to use more often when writing words. It's more efficient when you're teaching the alphabet. So I've taken high frequency letters, put them together to form words. This is, like I said, man, bat, can, and cat. I just want kids to see the picture and be able to say it slowly. Don't worry about trying to find different types of pictures or different props. You have everything in here to do these activities. Let's look at the first picture, man. This is what you would do. You would have your small group of kids, and the first thing you're going to do is show them the picture and say, this is a man. What is it, boys and girls? A man. This is a bat. What is it, boys and girls? A bat. So you would be showing them these different pictures. They would see the picture, and now they would tell you what the word is that matches the picture. That's the first step, that they know what the word is. After they can identify each picture, man, bat, can, cat, quickly, we will move to where they will say these words slowly using SlowMo Man. In the past, I've done so many different things. Let's act like a rubber band and stretch the word. Let's try to see if we can stretch the word and say it slowly. I've done so many different types of activities to try to get kids to say words slowly, and they have a really difficult time. Then I thought of SlowMo Man because I actually see children doing this all the time. It's in their world of play where they'll act like they're moving in slow motion. So what I did was I made a little SlowMo Man.